my number three favorite slash best, I'll say best movie of 2022 was Avatar: Way of Water, or The Way of Water. And this movie, I'll just say I was a big fan of the original Avatar. I saw it several times when it came out. I will admit, actually, it sort of my opinion of it kind of lessened in the immediate past after I watched it for like, I think 5 times in the theater. It kind of like
Which one? The
the
first one or
first
the
one, the
negative?
first one. Yeah, I was like, I'm not really that into it. But in the last 3 or 4 years, I've kind of gone back to it and kind of rewatched it, and it's my opinion of the first film's actually grown a lot. So I was very excited to partake in learning the way of the water, and I think James Cameron again raised the bar with what sequels can do, expanding the Avatar universe, introducing new components of what this world is, while at the same time dazzling you visually. I mean, I saw this movie twice in theaters, both IMAX in 3D, and it was just as transformative as the original Avatar was when I first saw it. So it's definitely like a technical marvel, but I feel this time he really upped the ante when it came to the characters, especially. Have you maybe you start with like your thoughts on Avatar 1, and then briefly what you thought about 2, and then I can kind of get into more of what I liked about this one.
Yeah. No, I remember enjoying and loving the first one. I only seen it the one time and was wowed by the Marvel, the spectacle of it, but
Mm-hmm.
never really thought about it ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie for me was sort of like, oh, do we even need this? Did I think that I was going to go and watch it? Absolutely. I mean, how can
Mm-hmm.
you not? And then as the buzz started to build, we, got a bunch of us together and we went and watched it in IMAX 3D the way
Nice.
it's supposed to be enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I agree with you from a technical Marvel standpoint and its transportive nature. It's amazing. Especially certain parts of it, like the entire water segment.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get to the water place, which I've forgotten the name of,
Yeah, me too.
is pretty that part is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I also went in with very low expectations in terms of story and meaning and character development and performance and how the whole thing hangs together. In the moment, I was actually pleasantly surprised that, oh,
Mm-hmm.
actually, this is pretty good. And I wasn't, bored for the most part. Like I was, and then there were some very big highs, especially the third act is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as time went by after watching the movie, I was like, I'm not going to think about this movie ever again, probably. And I think for me, a lot of it comes down to story, the emotionality of it, the tropes and the very reductive sort of tropes of it, of family
Mm-hmm.
and I know what he's going for, but they just don't really land on me. That said, can I enjoy the technical marvel? Absolutely. Did I think the third act was amazing? For sure. I wish the entire movie was like that.
Mm.
This movie would have then for me been definitely probably in the top three films of the year or the decade even because
Mm-hmm.
that last act is just so incredible. But
Yeah.
but yeah, the story, the emotionality, and some like half-ass sort of details which don't make sense of Sigourney and
Oh,
why are we, who are we? I'm
right.
not even harping on the bad dialogue. Like that sort of is like a cop out criticism. It's fine. I mean, this is who these people are. They talk that way. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
fine, get over it. I'm not too hung up on that. To me, it's just the story, some really big themes being touched on, but not really being explored.
Mm.
But last thing, I love the whale.
Oh my God. Yeah. The
The whale
Tulkuns.
was
The
amazing.
Tulkuns were,
They were
yeah,
amazing.
incredible. It was interesting that so much of the second half of the movie revolves around the
Yeah,
whales and
that's
this
why it
whale
worked.
society. And they didn't touch on it in the trailers. Like, I had no idea the whales were coming. And all of a sudden they're here and just like, I want my own like little whale guy to like hang out with and talk to. I mean, the fact that James Cameron's allowing us to, view parts of nature as other humans, right? Because they can actually talk and communicate the same way that a human can. Yeah, like the first movie for me was more about the themes than it was necessarily about the characters. I really loved the themes that the first movie explored. I think no movies really touched on those topics in that kind of way. when it comes to like colonialism, especially, and exploitation and capitalism. I thought it was just a brilliant sort of like reflection of what our society is like today and where it's going. And this movie was less about the overall themes for me. I really did the character stuff really resonated with me. What Jake and Natiri went through before, how they're trying to hold their family together, why Jake's now running away from his I wouldn't say responsibilities, but in the last movie, he was definitely, oh, we got to take it to the sky people and fight back. And now that he has kids and he has a family to protect and there's something really to lose for him, all of a sudden he spends this entire movie then running away. And then at the very end, realizing that now that he has something to protect is actually the reason why he should be fighting and not running. And I thought that stuff, like his journey really resonated with me, and all the things about, again, family and his kids and really having, love be what was driving him. But then again, realizing that you can't just be all like touchy feel. Oh, love means you can't fight for things that you care about. No, you have to fight back. Yeah, I thought it was great, and just an evolution too. I like how the time passed on Pandora, and it all again made sense. Like you're returning to a place you already knew. So I'm definitely gonna be right there for the third one. But it's not in a sense where like I want to know what happens in the way of like, at the end of Empire Strikes Back, you really want to know like what's gonna come next. Or the Marvel movies when they were being more successful in 10 years or so ago. It's like you really wanted to hear how the story was evolving. This is not really about that to me. It's more like I want to go back, be with these characters.
Yeah, it's an experience.
What's going on, and experience it. It's not like I'm on my edge of my seat. Someone actually, I read some review at one point around this movie of like, it's kind of, you can't spoil it. Like even if you told someone what happens at the end, it doesn't matter, which some people could see that as a criticism. I actually think that's what makes this movie so unique, is that it's kind of unspoilable. But
no, I agree with, I think Jake's storyline and character development is actually very good. I mean, if we can call it that. I mean, at least it's rich.
There's interesting things.
To me, if they'd just done a little bit more with Naturi's character and kind of balanced it out, it would have felt a little bit more thought through. And then same goes for the bad guy.
Oh, Korish?
It's unclear. I get why he wants to go back, but why the entire might and power and everything is behind him to kind of go back and do this. And then I guess the human child left behind, very, very, I don't never want to say bad things about child actors, but a very bad performance in my mind. So I think it was those things that kind of took away from, the main story arc. So
no, I do agree that Natiri was a little bit sidelined in this, and they had to focus a lot more around Jake as a father figure. But maybe they'll explore, like she'll be more front and center in the third one. We'll both be there. It sounds like
we'll both be there
for Avatar 3, The Way of Fire or something, probably. Hey there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I cover a topic around important people, places, events, and moments in our lives, and then explore it through 3 of our favorite movies. Subscribe right now, or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.